The phrase, "I'm proud to be an American," gets harder and harder to say, especially in 2024. Now, this is launching the day before the 2024 presidential elections. And while I'm not going to get political on your ass today, because that's not me, it is harder and harder than ever to say I'm proud to be an American because, frankly, a lot of Americans are just embarrassing on both sides of the aisle. Not only normal citizens, but especially some politicians. And this is probably one of the most important elections ever. However, instead of picking the best candidate, you have to pick the lesser of two evils. So please go vote for the lesser of two evils. Or if you want to, maybe you could write Mr. X in there. Hey, my name is Mr. X. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. We are giving away $1,000 statues to you guys. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X. We're going way out of our lane today. We're not going to get political. We're not going to talk about different sides of the argument, other than I hope you vote tomorrow for the candidate that you think is best for the country. I said that once in a video, and the person accused me of being on one side. And they did it in a very negative tone. So apparently who they think is best for the country they don't like. Which is like another layer too. Do you vote for the person you like, or do you vote for the person who's best for the country? But we're not going to go into that today. Today we're going to do a top 10 countdown based off of a viewer's comment. This person said, "Hey Mr. X, what would you do if you were president? Why don't you make a video on that?" So I thought, you know what, election time, let's have a little fun because it's kind of a shit show. Like I said, I'm still proud to be an American, but frankly, a lot of stuff is embarrassing, and we have to pick between two horrible candidates at the polls tomorrow. Now again, please go and please vote for the lesser of the evils. But before I get into my top 10 list, I want you to throw down in the comments below two things. Number one, what you would do if you were president. Number two, if someone has a different political opinion than you, personally attack them, because that's what our country's come to, and apparently it's the trendy thing. As we try to grow this channel, we like to reward you guys for watching and subscribing. So because of that, every 5,000 milestone when it comes to subscribers, we give away a couple $1,000s worth of statues. We've actually given away over 20 statues. To win one was easy. First, you gotta be subscribed to the channel. You'll get bell notifications when videos drop. Each video that drops, you want to make a comment on those videos. We pick a random video, we give away statues based on a comment. You can say whatever you want. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. So clearly I was joking about that last one. That is what's wrong with our country. When people hear facts they don't like or they disagree with someone, they personally attack them instead of actually doing research and looking at the subject and making an informed decision. So while none of my top 10 things have anything to do with that, they just have to do with things that I think would immensely help our country. Now these are in no particular order, but we're still going to count down from 10 to 1 because that's kind of fun. Not really fun, but 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. You know, I was thinking about wearing like a suit and a tie for this, but I'm heading to the stadium in a few hours, and this is me. So number 10, first of all, I would increase background checks. Background checks would be extremely hard to do two things. Number one, to vote, and then number two, for guns. And the funny thing is, I think this hits people on each side of the aisle want more stringent forms for both of them. I believe in the Second Amendment. I'm a big gun owner. I think there should be extremely thorough background checks for guns. And maybe not even just the person buying, but the people who live at their home. I'm okay if they even look at mental stability and they go down routes like that, because I know I would pass and I would still own my guns, but maybe we'd be a little bit safer and people who can handle guns would still have access to guns. Same thing with voting. I believe in voter ID. You know, in this country, you have to show your ID at the doctor's office. You have to show it to get beer. You have to show it to buy a gun. Hell, right now you have to show it to buy Dayquil. Why can't you have to show it? You're voting for the leaders of the country who technically can make the biggest impact and change our lives. Number 9, I would make you pass an IQ test to respond to other people online. I think that social media is one of the worst things that's ever happened to us because it has all these idiots out there who reply and comment and post things that are simply not true. And some of the things are so asinine that only a moron would believe them, but you have tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of people believing these stupid things. So I would make you pass an IQ test to be able to post online. Number 8, I would eliminate the party system. Republican, Democrat, it is so divisive. And a lot of the people in both parties are so divisive, both the voters and the politicians. We'd have to start over from scratch and we'd look at, hey, why don't we vote for the best candidate? Not, hey, this person belongs to a Republican Party, so I'm voting for them no matter what they say, do, or believe, or vice versa. So I would eliminate the two-party voting system, and I know it's technically not two parties, but those are the two main parties. As I said, it's been so incredibly divisive, and honestly, it's just a joke. By the way, all of these, I don't know if I could do if I was president. I would attempt to, but I could be cock-blocked by Congress. And if you ever heard this joke, if pro is the opposite of con, what is the opposite of Congress? For those people that wouldn't pass the IQ test, that means the opposite of Congress would be progress. But I think Congress is a huge problem. So there's a few things on here. Number 7 is, first of all, if they don't work, they don't get paid. And what I mean by that is not only when they take time off or they go to a stalemate, but they would be paid based off their productivity. So if they pretty much do nothing, get nothing passed, block everything, then I would take those extra funds we were going to pay them and I would give it to our military. So Congress would be paid not based off of a salary system. They'd be paid based off an incentive system of actually getting work done. And all that money we would probably save, we would put that towards our military. And I don't mean like buying more guns, weapons, walls. I mean giving the military people a raise. Because I have nothing but the highest respect for anyone who serves, and anyone that doesn't should leave this country. Number 6, I would give the media regulations. Media is probably one of the worst things that has happened to us in these last 10 years because they've made it so divisive, and media on both sides just tell straight out lies, or they manipulate things that happen to make it look differently. I would put highly stringent regulations on media. Maybe the fact that they have to say, hey, we are a certified media, certified by the government, meaning that we've went through this background check where we actually tell the truth, and then other media stations be like, nah, we just make up whatever the fuck we want. Or maybe media gets fined when they distort the truth or flat out tell lies. Number 5, I would take all the top terrorist leaders of the world and I would send them pictures of their homes and families and tell them if something happens to an American on their watch, that the satellite would zero in on their homes within seconds and destroy them. I think that terrorists, we always talk about terrorists, we don't negotiate with terrorists. These people who are willing to kill, they don't care about diplomacy. Unfortunately, they only respond with the fear they want to put in us. The only way to respond back is to give them fear. So I'd be a lot more heavy-handed with other people. And that doesn't mean just protecting Americans, but protecting our allies abroad. Let me tell you a story before I go into number 4. I started my career at 14 years old as a carryout in a Kroger grocery store. So I sacked groceries, took them to someone's car. They used to do that. They still kind of do. One day, a lady paid in food stamps, and this is back in the day when they actually had like paper food stamps, which is fine. She probably needed them, and or at least I thought she did. She paid $300 in food stamps, which back then was a lot. It was 3 cartfuls. So we start walking out to her car, and her cell phone rings. And this is like Zach Morris cell phone days. This is like nobody had a cell phone. It's like, wow, you have a cell phone. And then she used remote start on her Escalade. And not only did it remote start, but the sound system and the subwoofers in the back were huge. And it was a huge learning cap for me, be like, the government is giving this lady money so she can buy stuff that I couldn't dream of buying while I am a full-time student and working 30 hours a week, while my parents, who both work full-time, don't have the money to afford this stuff. So I think government-assisted systems have their place, and they are very much needed, but I think they are significantly abused. So number 4, I would make the government assistance programs very stringent. There would be a lot of verifiable cross-checks to make sure that someone qualifies. Whether that is food stamps or WIC or whatever that is, I think it is abused so incredibly bad. And here's another one a few years ago. I guess more than a few years ago. I found out they were making $140,000 a year, and they were still getting unemployment. So they had so many side gigs, they were making $140,000 a year, and they were still getting unemployment from a job 2 years prior. So I think that it's totally abused, and this would be a huge part for me. And again, all that great money we would save, I would give it to the military. Number 3, I would limit the terms for Congress and Supreme Court. If you haven't fixed things in 8 or 12 years, you should not be in that area anymore. So limit Congress and Supreme Court terms. I think that these people that have been there for life, I think it's just dumb and stupid. Number 2, any migrant who is here illegally, so they have not followed the proper process, and they have committed a crime of any type, they would be deported immediately. And then I would tighten up the border security as well. I think 90% of Americans agree that we have some problems at our border. Some are very much passionate about it. Some just think it needs to be better, but I think it needs to be way better. So I would immediately deport anyone here who has committed a crime, is an illegal migrant, and I would secure the border as fast as possible. Number 1, I would increase penalties for criminals. I believe in forgiveness, but I also believe that you have to pay for what you did wrong. And sometimes you pay for the rest of your life. So I would increase penalties for criminals. The fact that you can murder somebody and be out of jail in less than 10 years just blows my mind. And it's not just murder, but I think there are some that not are unforgivable, but I think you have to pay for the rest of your life. If you hurt a child, rape, murder, and not just those. I think that our justice system is too lenient. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want it to become China, where innocent people have to suffer horribly for crimes they didn't commit, which I know still does happen in the US, but overall it would increase the penalties for criminals 100%. So that's what it would look like if I were president. Granted, I know that because of the way the system's currently set up, I couldn't do a lot of those things, but I would do everything in my power. And I'm not telling you that so you'll put my name on the ballot tomorrow, although you can. You can write in, unless you're electronically voting, Mr. X, write it in. That'd be awesome if I got like 5 votes. But again, if you haven't wrote down in the comments below, throw down what you would do or which one of mine you agreed or disagreed with. And remember, if you disagreed, just attack me personally because that's how we roll in America. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in for a different video. I imagine a lot of people won't watch this, but that's okay. I had fun making it, and hopefully the ones that watched it here, you had fun watching it. And so I appreciate you. Please give me a like. I'll talk to you guys soon. Go Broncos.